What we are going to do with this class is to learn how to use Hasta Bandha and Pada Bandha to find more like a foundation for our standing poses or arm balances. Pada Bandha is the foot lock and Hasta Bandha is our hand lock, or what we used to call arches and domes. So let's start with the hands. What does Hasta Bandha means? You know that we don't really like to use Sanskrit names, but this is the original name of this root lock. So Hasta means hand and Bandha means lock. So it's a yoga technique to engage the muscles around the wrist in order to protect our wrist and create stability in arm balances, especially. So as you know from past courses, we use arches and domes, and we will review this in just a moment, in every pose that we bear weight on our hands. So how to practice Hasta Bandha or arches and domes? Basically, what we have to do is, can you see these four corners of the hand? We have to press those four corners of the hand against the floor and then create a little dome with the palm, like we are sucking air inside our palm. And then with the fingertips, we have to grip like we are using a claw against the floor. If you guys want to try this very quickly with me, grab your wrist just for a moment and see how soft this can be. Now make a fist. See how now there's engagement and that feels a little bit stronger. The same thing happens if you make a claw. So if you make a claw, you will not lose this engagement. So the main idea of making these arches in our hands and domes with our palms is to create a stronger foundation every time we put our hands into the floor. You can release your wrist. So the main idea is that every time that we put our hand flat on the floor, instead of just dumping the hand on the floor, we create these arches, and then with the base of our hand, creating a dome. And the important thing here is to really press these four corners of our hand against the floor. What usually happens in almost every yoga pose is that when we put our hands on the floor, we tend to supinate our hand. So imagine we are in downward facing dog. The most common thing is that we supinate the hand. So we create like this little gap between the index mount and the floor, especially when we outer rotate. When we bear weight on our hands, for example, in crow pose, we tend to inner rotate our shoulders, and then the index mount gets very firmly pressed into the floor. But what happens when we do upward facing dog? In upward facing dog, we encourage outer rotation, and when outer rotation happens, usually the index mount gets up. Even if we are not doing upward facing dog and very mild outer rotation like downward facing dog, what happens is the same. We don't put a lot of attention into our hands, and then they tend to supinate. What is important here is that we have a strong joint connected to the radius, which is the top forearm bone, but not so much on the ulna. So what happens is that if we dump a lot of weight into the outer edge of our hands, then this joint, which is not a true joint, gets inflamed. So it's very, very important that you use especially the index finger down in order to activate especially your handstands, your crow pose. So it's important that you activate not only the arches and domes, but especially the index knuckle. Now, what happens when we are not using the palm against the floor? How can we activate the Hasta Bandha in those situations? So, for example, when we are doing poses like half moon or any poses that our hand is not flat on the floor, instead of these arches and domes, we create just arches. This is the same concept as doing the claw, but just fingertips on the floor. So what happens here is that we create a strong foundation just by doing arches. Things to avoid when you put just arches on the floor. Many times we do this kind of thing, like we dump into our knuckles and then we just use the thumb on the floor. So instead of doing this kind of thing, try to get arches. What happens if you have a wrist injury and extension of the wrist is painful? Instead of doing the arches and domes, you can do fists on the floor. So you don't flex. It's a little bit more uncomfortable, but you can still do plank pose and many poses, not so much crow, but you can still bear weight on your hands. Then what happens in poses when you are not bearing weight? So for example, the top hand on triangle pose. In order to still activate your hands and create engagement in your forearm and in your wrist to make a more active pose, we have two options. We have option one, fingers together in one line, squeezing together. So you can still activate your wrist muscles, your forearm muscles, and the whole pose, it's more active rather than just like saying hi up here. The second option is fingers spread, very active. And then you can still do triangle pose. The top hand is gonna be active. The one that I like the most is fingertips close and straight, but you can totally make this engagement with your fingertips spread out. So things to do with your hands when they are bearing weight. The more weight, the more you have to claw the floor. When your hands are not touching the floor and not bearing weight, you can either fingers together or fingers spread, but very active in order to still be mindful with your hand position. Now, let's try to get into this concept of balance, strength, and flexibility. Let's practice a couple of exercises to warm up the wrists in order to be ready for sun salutes and planks and all the poses that we are going to practice today. So the first part is going to be to stretch our wrists. So the first thing that you can do to stretch our wrists is, and do it with me, palms together, and try to press with your wrists against each other, and then open the palms, take your fingertips towards you and keep pressing your wrists, keep pressing, and now your fingers are gonna go away and keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing, especially when the outside of your hands is together, try to press a little bit harder and reverse the circles. Now, toes are together out and then come in, do it one more time. And this is a nice stretch, especially for extension. Now, what else you can do? Take your palm in front of you. With your fingers, grab the fingers of the other hand, and with your thumb against the outside. And then take your fingertips towards your forearm. And now the back of your elbow outside and in front of you. That's also a nice stretch. Let's do it with the other hand. Palm out, grab your fingertips with your thumb press and open up your wrist. You will find even stretching your forearm if you do it strongly. Now, let's do inner and narrow rotation. So take your right hand in front of you and your left hand underneath between your thumb and your index finger. And with your thumb, press up and twist your hand to the outside. And keep pressing, 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 pressing. There you go. Now, take it inside, down, and out. And with your fingers, grab your palm up, and with your thumb, press it towards the ceiling and stretch your arm in front of you. This is a nice stretch as well. Now let's do the other hand. So left hand in front of you. Now let's go to the inside, down, and to the left. And with your right hand, grab your palm with your thumb, press it out. Imagine that your palm goes against the ceiling. Stretch both arms. And now let's do the other side. So flip your palm inside, up, and outside. And with your fingertips between your thumb and your index, with your thumb, press to the outside and imagine that your palm wants to face the floor. Those are all very nice stretches. Now, to warm up, the best way I know is to lift your hands and open and close your palms very, very quickly, very, very quickly. Let's try to be the fastest person in the room. So be the fastest one. You can do it, Jill. Carla, a little bit faster. And shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. This is a great way to really engage your forearms and warm up your wrist before any practice. Some stretches that we do as counter poses for all the sun salutes when we bear weight is when we do ragdoll and we step into our wrists. And especially in that pose, I'm going to remind you, try to get your toes really on top of your wrist and put pressure over there. I'm going to remind you this later on. So let's go into the foot. What does Pada Bandha means? So Pada means foot, and every time that we are doing standing poses, we have to be very, very mindful of the three arches of our foot. We will see it in just a moment, but we will try to find our weight evenly distributed between these three anchor points. Many times what happens with our foot is that we tend to think about just the inner arch and we do not pay attention to the other three arches. Of course, this is a real arch, and these other two, as you can see on their screen, are not real arches. So what happens with this is that many times when we practice, we are very focused on leg inner rotating, outer rotating, but not so much on what part of our foot is bearing weight on the floor. So let me show you very, very quickly a couple of exercises that you can do to feel your three arches over there. So I have a very, very nice close-up of my foot. So the three arches, the inner arch, if you don't engage, see that I have like super flat foot. And if you engage the inner arch, what will happen is you will be able to create an arch here. So how to create this arch if you have flat foot and disengage completely? What has to happen is that you have the foot and you have the inner arch here. You have the outer arch here from the heel to the pinky, and then the front arch from your big toe mount into your pinky toe mount over here. So what happened with most people that have flat foot is that this muscle here is weak and tends to collapse. So many times we tend to pronate our foot or supinate our foot, creating a bigger arch. So to engage this muscle, and I want you to try it, is think about shortening the distance between your heel and your big toe mount. So you can press with your heel and try to get this space a little bit shorter, and then lift your big toe and press your big toe mount into the floor. See what happens. Now try to relax. In order to activate the three mounts of your toe, of your foot, I recommend you to, by standing, do this. Take your right foot in front of you and plant your heel. Now, spread your toes and move your toes against you. Now, take your big toe mount and press it into the floor. So I'm gonna put it onto the side. So press very firmly, keep your toes up. Now, we are supinating a little bit. So if you can see on the side, we are supinating a little bit. Now, think about your pinky and try to move it to the right, away from your big toe mount, and press it into the floor. Now, take your toes down and see how, if you keep engaging here, your full leg is going to be engaged, especially the lower leg. But if you just relax your foot and disengage by standing, you will feel it. So let's do this exercise with both feet. So feet a little bit wider apart. Now take your right toes up, plant your heel, spread your toes as much as you can, and try to get your big toe mount into the floor. Now your pinky toe away and grip the floor, the same as you do with arches and domes. Keep that right leg engaged and feel the difference between the right and the left. Let's do the same thing with the left. Plant your heel, spread your toes, big toe mount into the floor, move towards the left, plant the pinky, and then grip the floor. See how you can engage even more with this exercise. Now, relax, and let's do a little toe exercise. So, by standing or squatting, whatever you want, lift your toes, spread them. And now, start placing the little and then a little bit more into the center and then the big toe. Now, lift only the big toes. Put them into the floor. Lift everything and lower only the big toe. Lift everything, lower the pinkies, and then every little toe down into the mount. Then again up, open, and grip the floor. This exercise, it's really great to get in touch with your feet and especially with your toes. So a couple of things that we can do when we are standing in poses is try to get the weight distributed into this triangle on the base of our foot. And what happens when we add, for example, weight into one leg, or when we are inner rotating or outer rotating? What tends to happen, for example, in asymmetrical poses like triangle, is that the back leg is inner rotating and the front leg is outer rotating. What happens with the arch in the back leg? Usually collapses. So when we are inner rotating and the foot is in 45-degree angle, the tendency is to pronate, meaning that the arch is collapsing. So you have to pay attention on the opposite arch, which is the outer arch, pressing it down into the floor. The opposite happens in the front foot. When we outer rotate, what usually happens is that the arch, the inner arch, gets even more accentuated and we have the tendency to lift the big toe mount. So the opposite has to happen. If we outer rotate, we want to press into the inner part of our foot. So if you have this in play when we are doing standing poses, the engagement of the legs is going to be easier for you to feel it. Every time that you put your feet on the floor, you have to engage. So it doesn't mean that you have to crank your feet all the time, but think about inner rotation and you press the outer edge of your foot. When you outer rotate, you have to press the inner arch into the floor. With these little tips, you will find very easy to find balance when you are doing asymmetrical poses. What happens when we are doing, for example, asymmetrical balancing poses like extended leg, when we are doing tree pose or any other poses that we are standing in one foot? The more surface we have, the better the balance. So the exercise of lifting the toes and gripping the floor is going to help you to, when your body goes to the right, to press with your pinky. When your body goes to the left, you're going to press with your big toe mount in order to compensate. So imagine a tripod like this one. If you have the tripod with your toes not very spread, the tripod is going to move a lot. But what happens when you open up your tripod and you have a bigger base to balance? You're going to be able to correct easier in these poses. Now, one more thing. We not only do flat foot in the floor, we also, for example, in lunge or in toe stand, we stand in the balls of our foot. So in this case, you want to use the inner arch. We talk about the inner arch a lot. We talk about the lateral arch. And what about the front arch? This is the balls of your foot. So in any pose like lunge, when we are putting just the toes on the floor, in order to engage here, what you should do is spread your toes as much as you can and also press with your heel backwards. This way, you're engaging your leg and you're pressing firmly into the floor. We're going to practice this as well. And this applies also in plank pose. When we have our hands in the floor, we spread our toes and press with your heels backwards. When you press with your heels back, you are able to engage your legs even more. Also, this engagement of the foot makes your lower leg engage. And it's important because every time that we practice any pose that we are bearing weight, we want to protect our ankles as well. And the tibial muscles and the calf muscles, when they are engaged, they're going to make you protect your ankles. So let me share my screen one more time with you. And the last variation that we can do is when we are not bearing weight in our feet, what should we do? Flex, point, or halfway, meaning we can floint. So every time that we are on the floor and we are not bearing weight, the same thing that we did with triangle with fingertips together or fingers spread. What happens, for example, with both pose? We point or we flex. Why we point? Well, if you point and you can sit down and touch your tibial muscle, which is the one on the side, if you flex, you activate this muscle. If you point, you activate more your calves. So when you are lifting in front of you, your tibial muscles are already engaged, and not so much if you don't point your calf muscles. So in order to engage all the leg, you want to point. But what happens if you do the opposite? If we are, for example, in pointer pose, we usually don't point, we tend to flex because in order to lift the leg, we use the back of our legs. So in order to activate the lower leg, we want to flex. The same concept happens in warrior 3 or in seated poses like forward folds. We want to flex in order to engage the top of our legs to be able to release the calf muscles and be able to fold forward a little bit deeper. So we're going to practice in just 3 minutes, so don't worry. So the key learning before we practice is Try to use arches and domes every time that you bear weight on your hands. Active fingers throughout your whole practice. Even if you're not bearing weight down on the floor, use fingers together or spread with active hands. Then be aware of the 3 arches on the base of our foot, especially try not to collapse on the inner arch or the outer arch. Active your feet throughout your whole practice, even if you're not bearing weight. Think about when you have to point your toes, when you have to flex your toes, and always we're looking for strength, balance, and flexibility. So the last bit of information that I'm going to share with you before we practice is the concept of floint. Floint is a concept that we use when we point our feet and then extend our toes. This makes more engagement. If you want to try by sitting, by pointing your toes and then flexing your feet or open up your toes, you're going to feel the engagement in the back and in the front of your leg. I'm not super fan of flointing, but in some cases, this activation is going to help you get more engagement in poses. So this is the workshop part. And now let's get ready for practice. So give me 1 minute to set up my camera a little bit closer to my mat. And if you have a block around, get it there. Be ready for practice, and we start in 1 minute. Okay, let's take a seated position. You can be cross-legged, you can be on top of your insteps, you can be on top of a block or directly into the floor. Take your hands on top of your knees and take a big inhale, expand your abdomen, and exhale and release your shoulders. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the legs rooted into the floor. Try to get your spine a little bit longer. Extend the back of your neck a little bit more. Relax your face. Take a big inhale again. And a full exhale. Take your right hand to your heart, left hand to your abdomen, and repeat silently. May this practice heal and strengthen my body and my mind. May this practice heal and strengthen my body and my mind. Take your hands on top of your knees. You can keep your eyes closed or open them for the breath of fire. Remember, sharp exhalations through the nose using your lower abdomen to blow the air out. And when you release your abdomen, the air is going to come in very, very smoothly. We use this to activate our sympathetic nervous system and get ready for practice. So we're going to do, as always, 3 rounds of 20 exhales. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Inhale halfway and exhale, exhale, exhale. Five, four, three, two, one, release. Breath is normal, shoulders are relaxed. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Second round. Inhale halfway and exhale, exhale, exhale. Good. Exhale, exhale. Focus on your lower abdomen. Try to relax your face as we are here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Breath is normal. Relax your shoulders, relax your face. Let's practice the last round together. Inhale. Exhale fully. Inhale short and exhale, exhale, exhale. Use your lower abdomen. Try to relax your face as you blow the air out. Focus on the exhales. 3, 4, and release. Great. Open your eyes. Let's take an all-fours position. Let's practice a couple of rounds of cat-cow, having in mind that we want our 4 knuckles or 4 corners of our hand pressing down the floor. So inhale, outer rotate, open up your chest. Exhale, chin to chest, round your spine. Inhale, open, roll your shoulders. Exhale, round your spine, chin in. Inhale, tailbone up. Exhale, inner rotation of your arms. Inhale one more time. Exhale, fully protract your shoulder blades strongly and release. Tuck your toes, hips up and back into downward facing dog. And if you want here, bicycle your legs. Stretch your right hand side, then switch and stretch your left hand side. If you want to lift one leg, make a couple of circles and then switch, up to you. If your legs are in the air, come back to downward facing dog. Bend both knees, extend your arms, relax your head. Inhale deeply. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Keep this ha sound, but now inhale and exhale through your nose. And start walking forward. Step your feet as wide as your hips. Take a moment to see your feet and try to lift your inner arch, dump your inner arch, lift your inner arch, press with your big toe mount. Take your hands into your waist. Inhale, lengthen, and go all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. That's great. Now, put your feet together. Put your feet together. Take your hands to your sides and close your eyes for a moment. See how your balance is challenged by not using your gaze, and open your eyes for a moment. There you go. Now, spread your toes, open them, grip the floor, and one more time, close your eyes. See how the balance is a little bit better this way. Your body has more room to compensate when your body is moving. Every time that we try to balance, every time that we want to root a little bit stronger, opening the toes is going to be better. Now, open your eyes. Let's do a couple of rounds of Sun Salute A. Feet together, top of your head is going up, and inhale, circle your arms out and up and look up. Exhale, fold forward. If you need to, bend your knees. Use just arches and flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, take plank position and lower down halfway. Point your toes, roll your shoulders into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a look at your feet, spread your toes, engage your inner arch, lift it up a little bit, and now press with your hands the floor. It doesn't matter if you bend your knees a little bit, try to expand and take your seat bones as far away from your hands as you can. Keep breathing through your nose. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more round like this. Inhale deeply. And exhale fully. Bend your knees and look forward. Inhale, step your feet together, just arches in your hands, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Root your feet, rise your arms above your head, palms are touching. Exhale, mountain pose. Let's do one more round like this. Inhale, circle your arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back. Engage your feet, lower down halfway. Inhale, point your toes, index toe mount, pressing, hips back. Extend your arms, lengthening your spine. There you go. Terry, step your feet a little bit more forward. There you go. Relax your head and neck. Keep breathing through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale fully through the nose. Let's come back. Bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, step forward into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up. Palms touch. Exhale, mountain pose. Now, bend your knees slightly and sit back. Back, 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 back. Fingertips on the floor. And now, feel your toes lifting a little bit. Try to root them into the floor. And now lift your chest, palms touching above you. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back. Lower down halfway. Inhale, point your toes, open your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog and pause here, pause here. Great. Take your left heel down, point your left toes in an angle and create an arch with your left foot. Create an inner arch. Now, lift your right foot, knee into your chest, lean forward, hips up, and step forward. Now, before you go, big toe mount, pressing down the floor, rooted, the back arch is still there, root, rise into warrior 1, bend your front knee, palms touch, fingertips together, exhale, lower down, lift your back heel, come back to plank, and lower down halfway. Inhale, open your chest, press with your legs. Exhale, downward facing dog. Back, right heel is down, make an arch. Left knee in, step it forward. Create an arch with both feet, root, rise, arms above your head. Keep pressing very strongly with your feet. And let's go back into plank. Lower down halfway. Inhale, index mounts on the floor, open your chest. Exhale, hips up and back. Downward facing dog, relax your head. Rub your neck, Carla, perfect. Keep breathing deeply through the nose. Try to get your heels down into the floor, even if you have to bend your knees. Spread your toes, spread your fingers. Make a strong foundation. And very gently, take your hips a little bit higher. Let's go back, bend your knees, look forward, step or jump forward into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees, lower your hips, chair pose. Inhale, mountain pose. One more round of Sun Salute B, a little bit faster. So Lower down, inhale, palms touch, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, exhale, step or jump back, lower down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and right foot forward, warrior one as you inhale, and as you exhale, hands down and lower down halfway. Inhale, up dog with your chest open, and exhale, come back. Left foot forward, root and rise into warrior one. Exhale, hands on the floor, lower down halfway. Inhale, open up your chest and project it forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Spread your toes, spread your fingers, relax your head and neck. Catch your breath here. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. Try to find your breath again. Let's come back, bend your knees. Inhale, step forward, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees, arms to the sides and up. Exhale into mountain pose. That's good. One more chair pose. Lower down, lower down, lower down. Palms touch as you inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back. Lower down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here and take your right foot forward. Take your back heel up, and go up into lunge. So your back heel is up. Try to get your balance here. Interlace your hands behind you. Squeeze your palms together. Press with your back heel back, so your back leg is extended, and start lowering a little bit more down. Open your chest. Try to get your hands on your back inner thigh. Look up. Now look forward. Open your arms and start twisting towards your right leg. Twist your torso towards your bent knee. There you go. Extend your back leg. Now, fingertips of your left hand on the floor inside your foot, and take your right hand up. Extend your back leg. There you go. Now let's try to lift using your abdomen. Keep twisting and come back to your arms parallel to the floor. There you go, you got it. Now, torso to the front of your mat, hands on the floor. Step your right foot back, lower down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot forward. Left foot forward. Come into a lunge position. Interlace your hands behind you. Remember, your back heel is pressing the floor. Now your hands want to go into your inner thigh. Open your chest. Press with your back heel. Open your palms again. Now twist to your left, to your bent knee. Try to keep pressing your back heel. There you go. Now, fingertips of your right hand on the floor, and take your left hand a little bit higher. There you go. Press with your back heel down. Let's use your abdomen to lift again. Lift, 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 lift. Now parallel to the floor, hands on the floor. Step back into plank, lower down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Catch your breath here. Shift your shin bones a little bit backwards. Try to get your heels down into the floor and your seat bones a little bit higher. Catch your breath again. Now bend your knees. Step or jump forward into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees. Chair pose, palms together. Exhale, mountain pose. Feet as wide as your hips. Hands on your waist. Take a moment to root. So spread your toes, grip the floor, inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, fold forward, and grab your big toes with your peace fingers and your thumb. Now try to steal your pressing your big toe mount into the floor. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward and wing your elbows out. Look at your feet for a moment and try to keep the inner arch over there. There you go. With your thumb, press your big toenail. Relax your neck. Try to get your hips a little bit higher. Release your big toe. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, all the weight on your heels and put your palms under your feet. Try to get your toes into your wrists. Remember what we talked about in the little workshop. Try to press very firmly with your toes. Make this pose a back of your legs stretch. So go a little bit more forward, use your toes to get your balance and try to get your heels down into the floor, your hips a little bit higher. For 3, 2, 1, release your hands on your waist. Inhale, lengthen your chest as you go up, up, up. There you go. Now, your feet 1 meter apart. Let's pause here. Left foot, only your heel, turn it in, place your big toe mount, spread your toes, and now your pinky toe mount into the floor and grip the floor with your toes. Now, your right heel goes up, twist it over, and your big toe mount into the floor, spread your toes, the pinky toe mount, and then grip the floor. Your chest is facing the long side of your mat. Inhale, arms out. Exhale, reach to the right, reach, and grab your shin, your ankle, or your big toe with your peace fingers. Twist your chest a little bit higher. Now, the top hand, press your fingers together. Keep pressing your big toe mount into the floor as you outer rotate your right leg and inner rotate your left leg. Take a peek at your back leg and see if your arch is collapsing or not. If it's collapsing, remember to press with the outer edge of your foot. There you go. Now look down, take your left hand into your waist, bend your right knee, and use just arches with your right hand on the floor. Lean forward, all the weight on your right foot, lift your left leg, and put your fingertips really underneath your shoulder. Flex the leg that is extended behind you, and now extend your left hand up. And if your balance is okay, start gazing up. Remember to spread your toes for greater balance. Spread your toes for greater balance. If you like to try, bend your left knee and catch your ankle. Open up your chest and press very strongly, press very strongly. Gently release your ankle, bend your right knee and come back to a standing position. Let's do the other side. So flip your feet into the left. Remember, the 3 arches of your foot are very well rooted. Your hips are facing the long side of your mat and your arms are to the side. Inhale here and exhale, lean to the left, and grab again your shin, your ankle, or your big toe. Take a look at your back heel. Press down the floor, your big toe mount pressing, your inner rotating your back leg, your outer rotating your left leg, and extend your right arm up. Twist and turn your chest. Try to get your chest in the same line as your left leg. So lean a little bit more backwards. A little bit more backwards. There you go. Engage your legs. Imagine that your quadriceps is on fire. It's outer rotating your left leg. Your back leg is inner rotating. Now take your right hand into your hip. Look down. Bend your left knee. Fingertips on the floor. And all the weight into your left leg. Extend and rise your right leg. Flex your toes on the top leg and extend your right arm. Get your balance here. Use your gaze at your favor. Stare at the floor, stare at the wall in front of you, or maybe into the ceiling. If you did it the last time, do it now. Bend your knee and try to grab your ankle. There you go, Alexa. Strong foundation leg. You do it. There you go. Okay, lower down. Let's come back to a standing pose. Legs are apart, and let's twist to the right so your right leg is in front of you. Now your right toes are facing forward and your left toes are facing more or less in a diagonal line. Hands on your waist and make sure that your hips are facing this short part of your mat. Inhale, lengthen your left leg up. As you inhale, go up. And as you exhale, first reach forward and then lower down, and maybe you grab your ankle or just arches outside your foot. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, press the floor with your hand, with your legs, and extend your right arm up. What you want to do here is strong legs, pressing with your fingertips the floor so you can lift, and then you twist and turn. Try to get both legs extended. Even if you have to grab your ankle, it's totally fine. Or you can find the block and grab the block with your hand. Open your chest a little bit more. Don't think about how you look. Think about how you feel. Are you feeling the twist or is just the legs? Try to upstream the twist into your spine. There you go. Now look down. Keep looking down. Bend your right knee. Take your right hand into your hip. Put your fingertips a little bit more forward. Lean forward and take your left leg up. Keep pressing with your fingertips the floor and twist one more time. Twisted half moon. So your fingertips are on the floor, your left leg is up, and you're twisting. There you go. Challenge your balance. This is all about challenging yourself. Look down, lower down, twist and turn to the other side of your mat. Now your left foot is forward. Try to root again with your toes. Right arm goes up as you inhale, and as you exhale, you fold forward and use your fingertips outside your foot. Inhale, lengthen your spine first, and then as you exhale, twist, and then take your left arm up. There you go, Jill. Now, take your front knee, bend it, walk your right fingertips a little bit more forward, and start lifting your back leg. Take your time. Fingertips are pushing the floor so you can open your chest and twist. Maybe your back leg is not as high as you want to, it's fine, but keep kicking with your heel backwards. Find your breath here, find your breath. Don't think about the figure, find your breath here. There you go. One more breath. Lower down, stand up. And let's make a wider stance, almost as wide as you can. There you go. Let's do the exercise of rooting. So left heel on the floor, lift, Twist inwards and your big toe mount into the floor, then your pinky mount and press very firmly with your left leg. Now, outer rotate, big toe mount, pinky mount, toes on the floor, bend your right knee deeply. Keep pressing down, extend your arms, and now just arches on the outside of your right foot and take your left arm up and over. Now, take a look at your back heel. See if you maintain your arch. If not, press the outer edge of your foot. Same thing with your front foot. Engage your foot, keep pressing. Now extend your left side of your body as much as you can. Engage your abdomen. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press with your right foot. Come all the way up. Extend both legs. Lift your right plant. Inner rotate. Big toe, pinky toe. Now the left foot. Same thing, and bend your left knee. Your chest is facing the long side of your mat. And now your left fingertips outside of your left foot. And then take your right arm up and over. Press with the outside of your back foot against the floor. Now try to reach as high as you can and then sideways to stretch your right hand side. Make it all about the stretch of your side. So go a little bit deeper for 3, 2, 1. Come back up and shorten your stance a little bit. Shorten your stance a little bit. Great. Hands on your waist. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, fold forward. Keep folding forward and place your hands on the floor. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward and walk your hands back, back, back. Stay here. Try not to collapse your feet inside. Keep pressing with the outer edge of your foot down. Try to relax your head. Squeeze your elbows in to broaden your shoulders. Keep your quadriceps engaged. Keep your head and neck relaxed. Very gently, fingertips on the floor. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands on your waist. Inhale, come all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. There you go. Now, put your heels a little bit inwards so your feet are turning out. Bend your knees slightly, bend your knees slightly. And now, place your hands on the floor. Place your hands on the floor. There you go. Now, fingertips on the floor, flat back. And now, spread your toes, grip the floor, lift your heels. Now, try to lift your chest up, fingertips off the floor. Just your hands are just like hanging. There you go. Now, hands on your waist. Try to get your chest a little bit more forward so your back is parallel to the floor. Try to get the balance here. Now with your heels still up, go all the way up with your torso. Extend your legs, but your heels are off the floor and lower your heels down. There you go. Take a moment here and make your stance a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter. Your toes are still outside and now lower down into a squat position. Maybe you put your fingertips on the floor and readjust your feet position. Once you're in a squat position, palms together, squeeze your knees away from each other. There you go. Breathe here, try to get your heels into the floor. If they are not, you can press your fingertips on the floor if your heels are up. Nice. Try to get your chest high, your hips low. There you go. Great, now fingertips on the floor again. Lift your hips halfway and take your right hand and place it underneath your right thigh. Right hand underneath your right thigh. Now your left hand behind your back and try to grab your hand. If you cannot reach, grab your pants. Now, extend both legs and start walking your left foot in. Put both feet parallel and transfer all the way into your right hand, your right foot, and start, no, sorry, to the left foot and start rising your right foot up, 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 up. Option 1, you stay here. Option 2, try to extend your leg. Totally fine if you keep your knee bent. Try to get your torso a little bit higher. There you go. Now lower down, lower down, lower down. Bend your left knee. Place both feet on the floor and let's switch. Your hips are still high. Left hand under your left leg. Right arm reaches around. Feet are parallel. Start walking your left foot closer. Press with your right foot into the floor. Root and rise. You can do half bird of paradise, or you can try to extend your leg. Totally fine if you're grabbing your pants, your t-shirt, totally fine, don't worry about it. Try to play a little bit around with your balance. Lower down, release the pose, come all the way to standing and shake your legs out. Good, feet together. Spread your toes, grip the floor, hands on your waist, transfer the weight to the left side and take your right knee up. Grab your knee. Option 1, you stay here. Option 2, 2 fingers hooking the big toe and maybe kicking your heel a little bit higher. Try not to get your heel in front of you, but a little bit higher. Now, open up your leg. Remember that grabbing your knee is totally fine. Look at your toes on the standing leg. Try to open and place them on the floor again. See if you can find your balance here. Gaze at the left. One more breath here. Come back to center. Both hands on your waist. Point your toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Shake your legs out, and let's do the other side. Really plant your right foot, spread your toes, grip your left knee. Same options. Grab your knee or grab your big toe with your peace fingers and extend your leg. If you're gripping your knee, totally fine. Now try to open smoothly. Kick your left heel up. And now maybe challenge with your gaze to the right. Hold it here for 3, 2, 1. Come forward. Point your toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Shake it out. Shake it out. Let's go into tree pose. So left foot grounded into the floor. Grab your ankle and place it onto your calf or into your thigh. Palms together in your chest. Interlace your fingers. Palms up and relax your shoulders. Especially engage your abdomen here. Keep a steady breath. Open up your palms. Open your arms parallel to the floor. And now, keep your legs as they are and twist to the left. So your chest is moving away from your right knee. Very, very slowly, come back to center, and move your chest towards your right knee. So twist to the other side. Twist to the other side. Very slowly, come back to center, back to center. Take your right hand into your knee, left hand goes up, and start shifting your hips to the left and stretch your left side. See how your arch is fighting you? Your ankle is talking to you now. Let's come back to center, palms up, into the middle of the chest, and lower down. Shake your left foot. Let's give it a break to the left foot. So grab your left ankle, place it inside your thigh, spread your toes, try to create a better foundation for this side, and take your palms into the middle of your chest. Interlace your fingers and flip your palms up. Take your lower ribs a little bit lower, so closer to your hips. There you go. Relax your shoulders. Very gently, open your arms to the sides, parallel to the floor. And we're gonna twist away from your left knee. So twist to the right. Twist away from your knee, bent knee, as much as you can. As much as you can. Very gently, very slowly, come back to center and move to the other side. Think about your standing leg, very strong. Your ankle is moving, trying to get your balance. Use your gaze, come back to center. Now your left hand goes on top of your knee, your right hand goes up, up. Now move your hips to the right and start taking your top arm in a diagonal line. Stretch your right hand side. There you go. Come back to center, palms up, into your chest, lower down, shake your legs, shake your legs. All right, come to the front of your mat, feet together, inhale, arms out and up, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, exhale, step back, lower down halfway, inhale, up dog, exhale, down dog, bend your knees, step or jump forward and sit down. Sit down, put your heels on the floor, fingertips behind you. Try to squeeze your elbows so you can open up your chest and lean a little bit backwards. Engage your abdomen, belly button in and up, and lift your legs, lift your arms, fingers are together, point your toes, maybe extend your legs, bend knees, it's totally fine. Open up your chest. We're here for 3, 2, 1, cross, take a mini break, take a mini break. We're gonna do 3 rounds, so 2 more. Fingertips behind you, open up your chest, lift your legs, point your toes, put your arms parallel to the floor with your chest open. Keep pointing your toes. Remember, if you bend your knees, it's fine, but try not to hunch a lot. And we're here for 3, 2, 1. Release, take a mini break. Let's do the last round. Fingertips behind you, open your chest, extend your legs in front of you, point your toes, arms parallel to the floor. Let's hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7. Alexa, open your chest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross your legs, hands in front of you. Step back into plank. Lower down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Walk or jump into a squatting position. Let's challenge our arches and domes in the next pose. So, hands on the floor, drag them towards you. Lift your heels and try to get your knees as close as your armpits as you can. Arches and domes in your hands, especially your index knuckle. Now, hips up, keep looking forward, protract your shoulder blades, Belly button in and lean forward. You can stay here. Next step, one heel into your bum, lower down, and then the other. And keep trying this. This is totally fine if you stay here. Maybe both heels touching behind you. Use very strongly your hands against the floor. Keep gazing forward. If you're stable in your crow, try to get your arms straight as well. I think you can do it. Great, Michael. Find stability, Alexa. I think you got it. One more breath here. Lower down, lower down. Take a downward facing dog. Take a downward facing dog. Great. Now, put your feet a little bit closer together. Extend your right leg up. Three-legged dog. Lean forward into a plank with your right leg up and come back into three-legged dog. One more time like this. Plank with your leg up. Come back down. And the last time. Plank, lower down, lower down, lower down. Plant your foot, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your left leg up. Left leg up. Let's go into plank. Engage your fingertips. Come back to down dog. Come back to plank, three-legged plank, three-legged dog. And the last one. Come forward, bend your elbows, top of your left foot, upward facing dog, into downward facing dog. Now take your right foot and place the outside of your foot next to your left hand. Take your knee down, both knees in onto the floor. Now left knee, drag it back, 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 and point your toe. Now, if you need a block underneath your right bum, use it. Take your hands close to your right knee, close to your right foot, and press the floor so you can extend your left hip. Take a couple of breaths here. Now take your elbows in front of your shin. Elbows in front of your shin. Now your front foot, try to hook it into your arm. This is what we are going to do in the very near future. So imagine like your foot is bracing your elbow. There you go. Now release and walk your hands forward, forward, forward. Maybe your forehead on the floor. Just try to relax here. We are doing a deep hip opening, outer rotation. We're also working your right glutes, stretching it. You have the tendency to lean into the right. Try to get your left side closer to the floor. We're gonna stay for 5 more breaths, so take a moment here, try to melt down. Walk your hands towards you. Tuck your back toes, lift up, and take a downward facing dog. Bicycle your legs for a moment. And now take your left foot close to your right hand. Left knee down, right knee down, and walk your right knee back, 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 back. Same as the other side. If you need a block under your left bum, place a block there. And walk your hands towards you so you can lift your chest. First, let's try to extend our back hip. And now very slowly, walk your hands forward and try to get your elbows in front of your shin. And with your toes, try to grip your arm. You can take a look at the camera. So you can grip a little bit here. You're on the floor, try to get this motion. There you go. Relax. Relax your head. And if you want to now, start walking your fingertips forward, extend, and try to get your chest on top of your shin. Breathe deeply. Three more breaths in this pose. Walk your hands back. Tuck your back toes. Lift your hips up. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees. Bend your knees. Step or jump into a seated position. Seated position. Two options here. Take either the soles of your right foot into your inner thigh or half lotus. So your heel very close to your opposite hip. Now, if you're doing half lotus, if you're doing foot down, totally fine. If you're doing half lotus, maybe you need a block under your knee. So do so. Now, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward and grab your shin, your ankle, or your foot. Maybe if you're folding forward, try to remove the block for a moment. If your knee stands on the floor, great. If not, put the block again. Fold forward and think about your chest going into your ankle. Two more deep breaths here. Great. Put your fingertips on the floor. Come back with your torso. If you're doing half lotus, stay there. If you're not, keep your leg in here. Now, put your fingertips behind you and plant your left foot. Same thing. Block underneath your knee or your thigh on the floor and start walking forward. Start walking forward. So you're either half lotus or your foot in between your heel and your bum. Works either way. We're doing marichi pose. So take your right knee into the floor, maybe walking forward, maybe walking forward. You can stay here, or you can wrap your left leg around a little bit and take your right hand behind you. Try to clasp and fold forward. Let me show you from the front. Your left heel is down, you're folding forward and try to grab your shirt, your pants, whatever is available. If you need a block underneath your right knee, totally fine. If your fingertips are in front of you and you're not binding, totally fine. I think your ankle is now screaming at you, so come all the way up. Lean backwards, release your right ankle, extend your legs, and move your feet. Move your feet. There you go. Let's do the other side. Remember, plant of your left foot inside your thigh or half lotus, wherever you want to do. If you have knee pain, either you put a block underneath you or do the sole of the feet inside. Now inhale up, exhale, fold forward, and try to grab your shin, your ankle, of your foot. Lengthen your spine, and as you exhale, bend your elbows to the sides. Remember to wing your elbows out. Keep falling forward. Maybe you have to rearrange your hips so the outside of your left foot is a little bit closer to your hip. Great. One more breath here. Now, fingertips on the floor, walk back, 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 back. And now, as you walk back, lean backwards so you can plant your right foot. And this is tricky. You want the outside of your left thigh on the floor so your body is going to shift left. Totally fine. You can stay here. Or maybe you get your knee close to your armpit and then try to wrap around. Maybe you want to grab your pants, your t-shirt, or nothing at all. Just like have your fingertips going closer. This is very hard for your ankle, I know. Just 3 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale fully. Inhale. Exhale fully. Inhale. Exhale. Come back up. Extend your right leg. Be gentle with your ankle. Move your ankles back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's great. Cross your legs, hands in front of you. Step back into plank. Lower down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step or jump into the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms out and up. Look up. Exhale, mountain pose. Feet as wide as your hips. Feet as wide as your hips. Bend your knees. Transfer all the way to the left side and take your ankle in front of your left. There you go. Palms in the middle of your chest. And start bending your left knee and try to get your elbows in front of your shin, as we did in pigeon pose. Now, extend your arms in front of you and fingertips on the floor. Fold forward. Fold forward here. Stay here for a moment. Now, transfer the weight into your left toes and lift your back heel. And lower down, 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 as much as you can. Maybe you can sit on your left heel. Maybe you don't. It's fine. If you're seated on your heel, transfer your hands behind you. Engage your standing toes. And maybe release the floor and palms into your chest. Maybe you need your hands on the sides just to get your balance. There you go. Now to release, move your hands in front of you. Engage both legs, lean forward. Stand up, palms into the chest. So you go all the way up and release your right leg. Let's do the other side. Bend your knees, left ankle on top of your right knee, palms into the chest, and bend your right knee. Now, elbows in front of your shin, and maybe fingertips on the floor, and make a forward fold here. Forward fold here. Great. Transfer all the weight into your fingertips, into your right toes, lift your heel, and lower down, 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 down. Transfer your hands to the back. Transfer the hands into the back. And now use your toes against the floor for balance. Try one hand, then the other. One hand in the middle of the chest, maybe both, just for a second, and then you release. Take a moment, try to play with the balance a little bit. Maybe hands to the sides. Okay, hands on the floor. Lean forward, all the weight into your hands. Go up, palms into the chest. Go all the way up and release. Great, let's try an arm balance here. Face the short side of your mat and stand into the middle. Bend your knees and same thing, right ankle on top of your leg. Bend, and now take your elbows on each side of your shin. And what we did with pigeon pose, try to get your ankle and your feet grabbing your arm. Now get your hands on the floor, arches and domes, and really connect your right knee into your right arm. Lean forward, bend your elbows, and try to get your back heel into your bum. Now, keep pressing down, lift your heel and lower down. Extend your arms, come all the way up and release. Let's try the other side. So, left ankle on top of your leg. Try to go all the way down and think about your foot hooking very strongly your arm. When your hands are on the floor, get your knee pressing with your left arm very strongly. So your hands on the floor. And now lean forward and bend your elbows. Lean forward and bend your elbows. The more forward you go, the less weight your back heel is gonna have. So there you go, Carla. Try to get your back heel up straight. Try this variation. There you go. Release very gently, Come all the way to standing, Shake your hands, shake your legs. Let's take a vinyasa into a seated position. So feet together, inhale, arms out and up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back. Lower down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Bend your knees. Step or jump into a seated position and lower down all the way. Grab your ankles. And lift your hips up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And now think about your feet. The inner arch is active. You're pressing with your inner thighs as well. And now, step 2, hands underneath your shoulders, pressing down the floor. Step 3, top of your head on the floor. And step 4, maybe lift a little bit. Maybe arms all the way straight. We stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Let's do 2 more rounds. Grab your ankles as close to you. Lift your hips up. Step 1. Step 2, hands underneath your shoulders and press the floor. Step 3, top of the head on the floor. And step 4, press with your hands. Extend your arms. Breathe into the top of your lungs. And we stay here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Let's not think about this anymore. 1 more round. Hips up. Hands underneath your shoulders. Give me just 1 more. Push all the way up. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale fully. 1 more breath. And lower down all the way. And grab your knees for a moment. Roll from one side to the other. Stay here for a moment and take your palms into your feet. Push your hips down and take your knees into the floor or towards the floor. Plants of your feet are facing forward and up. And just try to relax your shoulders. Maybe you can rock your baby. You can rock your happy baby for a moment. Now very gently, release. Grab your knees, rock back and forth. Cross your legs, hands in front of you. Step back into plank, lower down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And take your knees into the floor. Walk your hands behind and sit on your heels. Last two poses of the day. Grab your elbows. Put your elbows down and interlace your fingers. Open up your palms and make sure that throughout the whole exercise, you're gonna push with your elbows down and you're gonna keep your fingertips pressing the back of your hands. Top of your head on the floor. Tuck your toes, keep pressing with your elbows and lift your hips up. You can stay here. You can stay here and walk back and forth, back and forth. Maybe the next step, if you wanna try, bend your knee, heel to your bum and switch. And keep switching. Maybe both knees into your chest. And maybe you extend your legs up and point your toes. But moving back and forth is great. Moving back and forth is great. Try to find stillness in your position. Squeeze your legs together. We're gonna stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees into your chest. Lower down into child's pose. Walk your hands forward, forehead on the floor. Say no with your head. Let's come back to all fours into a downward facing dog. And walk your feet into the middle of your mat. Squat down. Take your hands behind you and lower all the way down. Extend your legs. Extend your arms, palms facing up. And so gently turn your head to the right. Come back to center, turn your head to the left. Come back to center. Extend the back of your neck and try to find a very comfortable position. Relax your toes. Relax your ankles. Relax your legs. Let your hips sink a little bit lower into your mat. Relax your abdomen. Relax your chest. Let go all the effort. Allow all your muscles to melt down into your mat. Your back muscles are melting into your mat. Your neck is relaxed. Your mouth is relaxed. Enjoy the next minutes of total silence. I'm gonna mute myself for a couple of minutes and then I'm gonna wake you up. So enjoy this resting time with your eyes closed, with your body relaxed. Allow your breath to be normal and just enjoy. Very gently come back to your breath and start wiggling your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms above your head and maybe stretch to one side and then the other. Make any small movement that your body wants you to do. Any small ritual that you have to do when you're waking up. And when you're ready, roll into your right hand side. Take a moment there. And now very slowly, very gently come back to a seated position. Let's do 10 rounds of balancing breathing to balance out our nervous system and leave the class with energy. Take your hands on top of your knees, relax your shoulders, close your eyes, and let's begin. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale fully. Last one together. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale all the way out. Take your right hand to your heart, left hand to your abdomen. May this practice heal and strengthen my body and my mind. May this practice heal and strengthen my body and my mind. Relax your hands. Open your eyes very gently. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. It was very fun. It was lovely to see you. I'm gonna stop the main video and stay just to say hi and answer all your questions. If you have to go, thank you very much. See you next time, guys.